This week, 3 stories shape the global security picture. A fragile ceasefire in Gaza and a final hostage swap. A large Russian strike on Kiev's grid, and Ukraine's deep hit in Ufa. And the Nobel Peace Prize spotlights Venezuela's democracy fight. Let's break down what happened, why it matters, and what to watch next. A ceasefire began at noon on Friday. By Sunday, the last living Israeli hostages were freed. About 2,000 Palestinian detainees began to go home. Leaders called the war over. Implementation is the hard part. Israel's cabinet approved the ceasefire and hostage deal late Thursday into Friday. The ceasefire took effect at midday Friday. The terms covered releases on both sides and partial Israeli withdrawal. Humanitarian access was set to expand as fighting paused. Thursday night into Friday morning, cabinet approval. Friday noon, ceasefire effective, forces pull back to agreed lines. Saturday into Sunday, staged releases proceed under Red Cross supervision. By Sunday, the remaining living Israeli hostages are out. Israel begins freeing roughly 2,000 Palestinian detainees as part of Phase 1. Not all remains of deceased hostages have been returned. Recovery work in the rubble will take time. Governance of Gaza is unresolved, and security control is contested. Aid scale-up depends on crossings, deconfliction, and sustained calm. First, it resets regional risk after 2 years of war. Second, it changes the detention landscape and internal politics in Gaza and the West Bank. Third, it opens a short window for diplomacy, reconstruction planning, and security arrangements. We move from the Levant to Eastern Europe, where the air war is evolving fast. Kiev went dark again on Friday after a large barrage. At least 1 child was killed, and dozens were injured nationwide. The next morning, Ukraine struck deep inside Russia. A refinery in Ufa burned, roughly 1,400 kilometers from Ukraine. Before dawn on Friday, Russia launched a combined missile and drone attack. Critical energy sites were hit. Parts of Kiev lost power and water. Officials said poor weather favored the attack's timing against air defenses. Restoration crews worked through the day to stabilize the grid. Early Saturday, long-range Ukrainian drones hit the Bashneft UNPZ refinery in Ufa. Fires and shutdowns were reported. The target sits far from the front, signaling growing reach and improved systems. This follows a broader campaign against Russia's refining capacity. Grid strikes test Ukraine's winter resilience and interceptor stocks. Refinery hits stress Russian fuel logistics and rear area confidence. The exchange increases escalation risk and pressures European air defense posture. Finally, a human rights headline with geopolitical weight. On Friday, the Nobel Peace Prize went to Maria Corina Machado. The committee cited her non-violent struggle for democratic rights in Venezuela. The award intensifies scrutiny on repression and political prisoners. It may influence regional diplomacy, sanctions debates, and migration policy. It can unify opposition networks, but also provoke regime pushback. For Gaza, watch the handover of remains, aid scale-up, and any ceasefire violations. Track decisions on Gaza's interim administration and border controls. For Ukraine, monitor rolling blackouts, repair rates, and repeat refinery strikes. Also watch Allied air defense deployments and energy security measures. For Venezuela, look for diplomatic signals, releases, or new restrictions. Follow whether the award shifts positions at the OAS, EU, or US. If you value verified timelines over viral rumors, subscribe. Drop your questions below and tell us which thread to deep dive next.